Game Week 3 is on the horizon, and we are here to help you out. If your team has been an absolute mess, we are going to cover a wild card. And if you want to gain the edge over some of the players and you've had a good start just like me, then we're also going to cover the best team, helping us to also look at which are the best players to bring in. We've had a couple of price rises, but trust me, we'll help you out, as well as taking a look at who's going to be the best captaincy option. So this is Fantasy Football. Welcome, everybody. My name is Kat. I'm your host. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right. First things first, ladies and gentlemen. In the description below is the link to Fantasy Football Hub, and that is how I've been gaining my edge. As you can see, my rank is very good, had a very good start, made some very good decisions, and I couldn't have done it without the help of Fantasy Football's AI tool, which honestly beats a lot of humans more than I can actually, evidently. And the best thing about it is if you use the link in the description, you'll get 50% off, which is such a bargain right now. And on top of that, if you don't win your mini league, they'll give you your money back. T's and C's apply, which is all in the link in the description as well. So please check that out, guys. I swear to you, you guys will actually not regret it. Now, first things first, we're going to start off helping out those people whose teams are in a mess. So let us take a look at what a wild card is going to look like. All right. Now, the thing that you guys have honestly been lacking in terms of your team, which I'm very sure is both solidity and longevity and 100% of minutes. And that's the name of the game, this one here, is also picking teams which are very solid. So let's start off with the keeper. In goals, we've got Raya. Absolute great defense. You know that you can never go wrong with that defense. So Raya really wins. Coupled with him is a 4.0 keeper who won't drop in price. So he's someone you can keep there. Raya himself is somebody you can also keep for longevity. So you don't actually have to make any substitutions. If you do want to go down, you have the luxury of also going down from Raya. And that's the great thing about his price being the highest. In the back line, we'll have Saliba there, Ruben Dias and Virgil van Dijk. And I'm sure, as you noticed, that those are the players who are the centre backs of their teams. And those teams are about to go into a Champions League run with a high level of fixture congestion. And you need players who are going to be solid. And those are the players that are going to be solidified in their team. And so those are the players you need. The last thing you need is having a wild card in Game Week 3 and picking teams who fixtures look great, but the team isn't necessarily great. Players who are not going to be playing minutes, players who are also going to be rotated highly. These players need to be solidified in the team, short in for minutes, to not give you any benching, to not give you any actual headaches when it comes to who's going to be playing in that final game week. Coupled in with those three defenders, you have 4.5 Robinson with good fixtures, who you know as well is not playing any European games, but has got some very good fixtures ahead of him, as you can see down below. And also we've got Davis as well, who also has some good fixtures, as much as he's playing in a very weak inside Ipswich, but he is that left flank defender who is making runs and looking to make assists. So that's the defense there, guys. Short in people with good fixtures as well as minutes. And the beauty about this as well is you've invested fairly well where you can make moves down as well from the premium defenders over there. So that's the defense. Going into the midfield, a Kevin De Bruyne, who's been performing very well. I think he's going to continue being in the team. And the beauty of him is you can also move down from him to a Foden. So I think right now Kevin De Bruyne is the one to go for until you see otherwise. But Bailey is coming in there. Aston Villa assets having very great fixtures, as you can see below. And then Diogo Jota being a very nice supplement, as always, for not being able to couple Haaland along with Salah. And then Emil Smith-Rowe, who also has some great fixtures from Fulham there. Guys who are short in for minutes in the actual team, as much as Jota might be subject to rotation later on, you have the luxury of having the players around him who are definitely locked in their teams as well. Then moving into the strike force, of course, we've got Haaland there with captaincy for this specific game week. We've got Ollie Watkins there, who hasn't necessarily been performing, but I think we should give him the benefit of the doubt because he's actually got some good fixtures coming up. And then we've also got João Pedro, who himself as well will be having some good fixtures coming up, despite this fixture itself over here. If you want to, you could actually play Morgan Rogers ahead of him in this specific game week because they're playing Leicester and João Pedro is playing Arsenal away. So that's the wild card, guys. Remember, the name of the game with the wild card is picking players who are short in for minutes. Nobody's going to give you any headache as to whether or not they're going to be playing, and as well as not being afraid of fixture rotation once the European Cups actually, excuse me, the European Cups actually kick in over there. So that is that. Let us take a look at captaincy now before we get into which is the best team for game week 3. Captaincy options. Now, first things first, I think the best person for captain this game week is, of course, Erling Haaland. Yes, Erling Haaland is going to be playing against West Ham. I actually have been fearing West Ham in the sense that they are a very good team. I don't think it's the most ideal team to play against, really, when it comes to your captaincy. They were very well put up defense, a very good defense for Man City last season, and I think Erling Haaland missed a whole lot of chances with Doku really trying to help him with assists. So, in all honesty, as much as he is going to be the captain, I think it's not going to be the best haul that he could actually have unless they give him space behind the defense to actually make those runs. But if you're not sure about having Erling Haaland and you want to go slightly different, then Cole Palmer is the man to go for. Yes, I have been saying we should stay away from Chelsea. This one is honestly for those who also already have Cole Palmer. I still think we need to give ourselves time with Chelsea for those who will be moving for him. As you can see, I didn't even put him in the wild card, despite the good fixtures that he has, as you can see down below from me. Then I just think that Crystal Palace hasn't really been performing. They are playing at home, which honestly, with Cole Palmer playing in that 10 role as he was in the previous game, I think he can cause damage. And it just, we need to just also make sure that we watch this game to see. I think this game will really solidify what we think if he plays in that 10 role. And I think he's definitely a play that we can move for. But as for this game week, he is definitely a captaincy shout. Then the other obvious option besides Saka, besides Cole Palmer and Haaland, is of course Saka. Saka playing against Brighton at home. Brighton have been a very good team going forward, but defensively, I don't think they've been asked the right questions, and I think Arsenal's going to really do that with Bukayo Saka leading the spear attack. So I think that he is going to be a very good option on that right-hand flank. Also on penalties, if you guys want to go for somebody different other than Haaland and Palmer, then Bukayo Saka is also the one. Then one more big surprise. I think if you really want to go for a differential, low owned, you don't have a Saka, maybe you actually don't have a Haaland, and you also don't actually have a Palmer, then a player to bring in this game week is Bryan Mbeumo playing against Southampton at home. This is you targeting the fixture. Tony does seem to be leaving. He is highly linked with a couple of clubs, of course, Chelsea in the background as well. They've mentioned Arsenal, but you'll have to see either way. He is linked away and with a move away from Brentford. And this makes Bryan Mbeumo the talisman, 7 million option in the midfield, who's also going to be having some set pieces as well as the penalty kicks. So I think he is somebody who's definitely going to be able to get something out of that Southampton game, possibly an assist and a goal, and maybe even better, 2 assists and a goal, or even 2 goals and an assist. That is my prediction, I think, for Brian Mbeumo, and I think he is the player to bring in for you in this game week. Right, now we are going to take a look at who are the best players for game week 3, having put together the best team for game week 3. So let us take a look at that. The best team for game week 3 in goals, of course, is David Raya, because they're playing Brighton at home. Arsenal have a very good defense at home, amazing defense, and I think that Brighton is not really going to breach it, although they really can if Arsenal does lose concentration at any point in the game. Then saving some money going from Trent with Robertson. Funny enough, he's actually predicted to score higher points than Trent Alexander-Arnold, so it makes it a no-brainer to actually bring him over Trent. And then we've got Aya from Brentford, just to cover those points. They are playing Southampton away, as I mentioned, so he is definitely a player that could also come in. If you want to also bring in Ethan Pinnock, then you can definitely do that. And then we have Robinson, of course, covering us with the Ipswich game and having a very good assist as well in the previous game. So that is the defense on the field. On the bench is a Konza and a Jiren Timber, who did make a very good appearance in the previous game. I think Konza is somebody who you can bring in if you're not sure about the Robertson from Liverpool choice there. So that is a great idea there. And you can see in terms of benching who you would rather bench. Then going into the midfield, Saka, of course, just to get that captaincy covered as well. I'd rather go for him. I am a Ghana after all, so yeah. And then we've got Mbeumo as well in the midfield there, going for Southampton. 2 penalty takers there already. Diogo Jota there against Manchester United. I think he's somebody who can get a goal in any game, a return in any game. And then we have Emil Smith-Rowe, who performed in his previous game, hoping that his form can continue through into game week 3. And then going into the strike force, we have a Haaland, along with Watkins and Wissa. Wissa being a very interesting pick there, considering people are mostly going for him over Brian Mbeumo. And I did take a look at their actual comparison using the Hub AI. As I mentioned, guys, it's one of the great tools that you guys can actually use in having a subscription with them. If you want to check it out, then use the description below use the link below in the description to actually check out. The comparison tools was showing that Wissa has a lot of shots in the box. He's highly involved within the box. His XG is much higher than Brian Mbeumo was. Brian Mbeumo is more of the creative player who's bringing in the crosses, who has the key passes and all of those as well. But the reason why I love him is because he also does get those chances in order to slot some actual goals away. So Wissa is not a bad choice, but I think I would rather between them, as much as Wissa does show that he is more likely to score goals. I think Brian Mbeumo is a better option than Wissa. And then on the bench and for the midfield, I have a Morgan Rogers, and that really just couples up the team. So, guys, in the next video, I will be covering my team for game week 3. I will be moving, so hopefully that doesn't come out late. But if you guys want to check out more of the content and see who are the players that I have been mentioning for transfer plans as well, to see who I'm going to be bringing in, then you should check out this video right over here. And this is going to tell you and talk about all the players who you should be bringing in for game week 3 as well, if you feel like there are some people that I missed. Other than that, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next game.